Bledsoe was arrested.
Patrick Montgomery was in court.
Jonathan Manapa will stay in federal custody.
No, I don't take responsibility at all.
Hey everyone, welcome to the show. So 29-year-old Ohio resident Jonathan Copeland had attended a Trump rally in Georgia before traveling to D.C. on January 5th. And on the night of the 5th, he attended another rally at Freedom Plaza. So the following day, the 6th, he was seen wearing gloves, he had on safety goggles, and he was just a few feet away when the mob initiated that very first breach on the Capitol grounds at Peace Circle. And as they reached the second set of barricades at Peace Circle, which were manned by police officers, Copeland added his weight to other people who were lifting the barricades off the ground and pushing them into the police. So he was pushing against their backs, and so he helped in the effort to force the officers back. And then Copeland was seen grabbing and pulling on the barricades while other people were attacking the police. So officers tried to put the barricades back into place, but Copeland and the rest of the mob just stepped on and over them, and they surged toward the Capitol. So sometime after that, Copeland took part in that Billboard attack on the police. And you guys may have heard me mention this before. So it involved this massive Trump sign. It was framed in metal, and it had these large wheels on the bottom of it, and they were the size of a man's head. Well, Copeland was one of the people who lifted this sign off the ground, turned it on its side, and then rammed it into the police line like a battering ram. So luckily, none of these dangerous portions, these edges or the wheels, hit any of the officers, and they were able to grab it and they pulled it away from Copeland and the others. But while they were distracted by the Billboard attack, others in the mob were grabbing and pulling barricades away from them. So it left the police line completely exposed to these, rabid Trump supporters. So after the police gained control of the sign, Copeland retreated back into the mob. He was later seen assaulting a photographer for a news outlet. And this photographer was wearing all black. And, we know how much that color scares MAGA. We also know how easily duped they are. So they, of course, surrounded this poor guy, accused him of being Antifa. And so Copeland jumped in. He was captured on video. He was screaming at this man. He then grabbed the guy, pushed him several times, and he was yelling at him, "Get out of here and go." So eventually, Trump's terrorists pushed this photographer off of a ledge because, peaceful protesters, Capitol tourists, all that BS they like to push. So Copeland was then seen illegally entering the Capitol. It was shortly after the very first breach of the Senate wing doors, and he walked through various areas of the building, and he was seen waving for others to follow him. And then sometime later, he exited the Capitol building and he left the Capitol grounds. So in July of 2021, Copeland responded to a post on Twitter, and he falsely stated in part, quote, "Police brutality caused 6th." And in response to a post written by a Republican congressman, who you all know very well, Jim Jordan, Copeland wrote, quote, "How many Ohioans risked everything to speak up on the 2020 election fraud on J6th? You haven't responded, sir, starting to think you don't care about us." First of all, punctuation is your friend, Copeland. Embrace it. Not a period, not a comma in that entire thing, just one massive run-on sentence. And second, you're correct. Jim Jordan does not give a damn about you. Neither does your apricot antichrist. Anyway, the FBI interviewed Copeland on February 5th of 2021, and like really does attract like. This guy spun some very tall tales, just like Trump. He told the agents that when he approached the barricades at Peace Circle, the officers charged at him and the rest of the mob and started beating them. This is just so laughable and so easily disproven. And Copeland admitted during his trial that he deleted all of his social media and his Yahoo Mail account after the Capitol attack. He also conceded that he got a new phone. Of course, he said that his criminal actions had nothing to do with any of it. Didn't do it because of January 6th. Just a coinky-dink. So Copeland was arrested on August 25th of 2022, and he was charged with 2 counts of civil disorder, assaulting officers with a dangerous weapon, entering a restricted building or grounds with a deadly or dangerous weapon, 2 counts of disorderly conduct, one of which included a deadly or dangerous weapon enhancement, 2 counts of physical violence, one of which also included a deadly or dangerous weapon enhancement, and parading or demonstrating in a Capitol building. Copeland refused a plea deal. He opted for a bench trial, and in May of 2024, he was convicted on all but 1 count. So disorderly conduct in a Capitol building was a no-go. The judge said, no, he did not do that. So Copeland faced a combined sentence of up to 61 years in prison, 22 years of probation, and $1,260,000 in fines. The prosecutor tends to ask for 5 years or less in cases like this because of the federal sentencing guidelines. This time they requested 9 years in prison, 3 years of probation, and $2,000 in restitution. And Copeland has only 1 previous conviction. It was for a violent assault also. Apparently in 2013, he broke a window screen so that he could enter a victim's home. After assaulting the victim, Copeland then walked outside, slammed his hand into the windshield of this person's car, and broke the glass. So U.S. District Judge Dabney Friedrich presided over Copeland's case, and she ended up sentencing him to 71 months in prison, 3 years of probation, and $2,000 in restitution. So I have to give credit where credit is due. Friedrich has gotten much better in these cases. She is a Trump appointee, and she used to be horribly weak. She used to give the most ridiculous sentences. So I don't know if her eyes have finally been opened to the truth about January 6th or what, but in any case, I'm glad she finally found her ovaries. Now, unfortunately, as you all know, Trump might let this guy walk, might let him off with a pardon. And unlike some of the other violent January 6th convicts, Copeland hasn't been in jail. He's been out on pretrial release. So we'll see what happens, but could, very well never spend any time behind bars or nothing significant. All right. Thank you all so much for watching and listening. Please like, please share, and subscribe. Please donate if you can. Love you all. Take care. Talk with you soon.